Hello, hello. Welcome to the Pharmacy Seeds Network Tuesday night live stream. Every Tuesday night, we do the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. And we talk about farming, gardening, and many times bees, as well as cooking and all kinds of other stuff. The Farmers and Gardeners Net is run over amateur radio on the 2-meter band on 146.805 Megahertz. And it's a amateur radio is basically a licensed radio operator's license, but it's open to whoever can pass the test, and it's a good community of people. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we run the radio net for about a half an hour, and then after that we talk in the live stream after that. So that's it. So we're going to get started. I'm Carl, Pharmacy Seeds Network, and today is 9/10/19. See if anybody's back from vacation yet. This is KD2IIN, Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. The Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net is sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club, and happens every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. here on the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Repeater, the 146.805 Megahertz repeater with a PL tone of 103.5. That said, let's go ahead and get started. If there's any check-ins, please call now.
This is 82 RFI.
Awesome. Gonna be a good one tonight, guys. The net welcomes KD2 RFI. How are you tonight, Bob?
Good evening. I'm doing very well, very well. What's going on your end?
Very good, very good. Busy time of year, but busy is much better than bored. Let's see if there's any further check-ins, and then we'll go ahead and get started. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. No further check-ins recognized at this time. So, I guess I won't steer it to bees right away, because I know that's a rabbit hole to open. What's going on with you? How's things? Did you get your skydiving certificate? And what's going on with your bees? And have you had a chance to be around your bees, or have you been too busy with other work?
Pretty much yes to everything. It has been absolutely nuts around here.
Yes to everything.
I did get my skydiving license.
Hey, Homesteading Highway.
Actually a licensed skydiver.
9:30.
I just got to buy my own equipment. And I didn't reset the timer on my little handheld mail thing here, so I will have to cut out every now and then to reset the timer, otherwise it's cut out on me. So let me just let it drop now for a moment. Alright, yeah, I'm not sure how long that timer is, but I'll have to drop out every now and then. But no, I'm a licensed skydiver. I was looking at new equipment to buy, and then I got a call from my daughter. She needs more college funds, so pretty much my skydiving ventures are on hold for a moment. All money funds are being redirected back towards her college education at this time. It's been absolutely crazy, non-stop. Chicken, bees, bears, oh my. It's been crazy. Let it drop a moment. It's the season, and I'm also working on a online course as well at the same time, so it's been nuts. I did go through the hives, pull honey, and extract this past week. I think about a week and a half ago I extracted, and it was an incredibly productive year. From everyone I've been talking to, it's just been a booming year for bees. The weather was perfect, the right amount of rain and sun, and not too much rain too soon. It was just everything worked out really well. Long story short, my current tally is about 630 pounds of honey, which is 52.5 gallons.
Bang!
And I have approximately 100 more pounds still left to remove and extract at this point. So
Wow.
it has been a moving year.
This is KD2 and net control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Well, banging awesome on all fronts, Bob. Banging awesome on all fronts. And sounds like your bees were super productive. 660 pounds, 52 gallons. Man, you could almost fill one of those drums like the Canadian beekeeper guy. Wow, that's an incredible haul. And yes, it has been an excellent season overall for bees. It makes me really glad this is my first like honey season with bees. It's a great first experience. I'm sure there will be other seasons where I'm a little disappointed, but it's good season to learn in. Not a lot of things to be concerned about initially. So fantastic. Let's just see if there's anybody else along for the ride with us, and then I'll put it back to you. This is KD2 and net control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. No check-ins recognized. Pick it back up, Bob.
Yeah, KD2 RFI. Yeah, really, not a whole lot more to say. It's been, like I said, this financial hurdle with the daughter's college education has kind of thrown me for a loop, and so I'm working every chance I get. Unfortunately, so I don't know how often I'll be hitting the nets or whatnot, but I was available tonight, so I said, I'm definitely staying up for it so I don't miss it. I think, last week I wound up working, and it's just been crazy. Absolutely crazy on all fronts. But, like you said, it's a good thing. If we weren't busy, we'd be complaining about something else. So, yeah, not too much more going on as the honey for me right now. I am taking a EC001 radio online course through ARRLs. It's an online course for emergency radio operations, through, specifically with Aries. This is what I'm focusing on.
Okay.
So that's been keeping me very
Amateur
active.
radio emergency service.
In the books and doing a couple activities on that as well. I got to get that done by October 4th. So pretty much all in all, I don't have a lot more to report. It's been, everything I'd like to do has been mostly put on hold. But with the exception of stuff that has to get done. So how was your total haul this year with the bees? I saw you put up a new video. Finally, plants are still blooming, which is blooming awesome. But it looks like your bees are doing really well. Did you get a final tally on your honey haul yet?
No final tally. In fact, I still haven't extracted the stuff I pulled yet. But my mom brought over the extractor today, so now I have the equipment. I was looking at glass prices on Hudson Valley Bee Supply there, and I see that their glass prices aren't that bad in their official honey jars. So I think I'm going to go over and pick up some honey jars sometime this week in the next couple days, and get on with extracting the first pull. And I just did an inspection the other day, as you saw, and there's at least another medium super on there. I don't know if that'll be extractable or not. Some of those combs seem to be falling out of the frames. I don't know what's going on there. That may be new user error related though. And then the other super on the other hive is a full deep, and that's got one frame left they haven't filled yet. I'm hoping they'll fill that in the next week to two, and then definitely by 2 weeks I'm going to pull off everything that's left and prep for fall. Do mite checks, possibly do OAV, and start backfeeding the hive and make sure they're full. But I did pop and take a look at the top of those the second brood super, the second frame up, just to see what they look like, and those look like they're chock full of honey. So I think they got a pretty good reserve. Yeah, I'm really happy with my bees. They're doing really well this year. And let's see what else. I'll break for a sec. And then let's see, I'm going to move the hives down to a new apiary spot, so I've got to get that. I've got a few trees I got to drop there, and I got to get in there with the tractor and the front end loader and do a little bit of excavation work to kind of set that up how I want it. And then I've got another top bar hive at another farm that is not in great shape, but they're still rolling along. I'm going to try and bring them home and back feed them good, and hopefully nurse them through the winter and have a fourth colony breaking out in the spring. And then I don't know if I'm going to keep them in the top bar or if I'm going to try and transfer them over to a Langstroth or whatever, but I'll sort that out later on. But overall, yeah, they're doing really well. The buckwheat that I planted a couple of weeks ago was in full flower. The bees haven't been in it up until today too much, here and there, but not a lot. But as of today, they were in there pretty heavy, so I'm glad to see them using that resource as well. So I guess I'm just going to roll and, see how much more honey they can pull on. It doesn't seem like they're pulling anywhere near as much now as they were back in late June and early July. I have a question for you about OAV, but I'll drop it and let you pick it up. And real quick, let's just see if there's any further check-ins. This is KD2IIN, Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now.
KD2IIN.
Net recognizes
This is
K2JLV.
K2JLV, just checking in for the net.
All right, very good. Well, nice to have you along, Dave. The net recognizes K2JLV. And you just finished up with laundry now, I hope?
Yes, I did, and unfortunately I will be heading home now, and all of my HTs I use for mobile are battery dead. So I'm just checking in to support the net, and I hope you enjoy the rest. Hello to everyone on the net, K2JLV, back to net.
All right, very good. Well, thanks for the support and the check-in, Dave. And hope you get home and get some charge and some food in you and a chance to breathe a little bit. All right, thanks for the check-in. And I'll put it back to Bob, KD2RFI.
Wait, and some item 4, which was I think it was about 15 tons, give or take. I'm not really sure. I don't remember what thing it said, but yeah, so I spent a couple hours Sunday spreading that out as well. So yeah, just a lot of work around the house. It'd be nice to have stone back in the driveway. It's been 6 years since I put anything down, so I got to start putting more stone down just to build it back up again. I'm getting down to the big stuff, the big rocks you really don't want to see. You want to keep buried. I'm trying to think there was something else about the bees. You mentioned the foundation coming out of the frame. I always find it's usually user error on my part. I usually have a blank spot. I don't have enough frames, so I put in like a broken frame that the bear got into, where like the bottom bar is missing, and just something to put in there. And the bees do an amazingly well job of building the comb off it. And but all of a sudden I pull it out of the box and it
falls out.
There's no bottom bar, and I'm like, oh, that's where it went. So I got one of those sitting right now. I'm going to cut out some honeycomb for somebody who wanted some. So that's one of the advantages of it. I have not had good luck with my top bars as far as getting the bees to build the comb straight. They always seem to build the comb right across the bars. So I got to, if these colonies ever die out on me, I don't want to basically destroy the entire colony to have them start rebuilding in the spring. I could do, they would survive it, but just a lot of work for them. So I got to try and redesign my bars to get them to hopefully build in the pattern I'd like them to. Any of that wax falling out, you can always, crush the honey out of it and still,
the wax.
Make candles out of it, which is something I keep saying I'm going to do. I got like 50 pounds of wax right now, and I only made like 4 candles. So we'll get to it maybe this winter. All right, back to you, CJ. KD2RFI.
KD2IIN, Net Control for Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Everything takes setup time, run time, and cleanup time, and man, it just never seems to end. So I hear you. I've been cleaning and scrubbing things up and getting ready to switch stoves around in the greenhouse, and I got my drying rack out there. I just spent most of the afternoon cleaning that and the screens for it up so I can get some stuff drying in there. And I still got more to do that. I got to put some screens on the side of that to keep mice out and stuff. So I sympathize with the endless number of tasks, especially this time of year. But yeah, I just kind of figured I could just, you know, save the comb or whatever. I'll bring a stainless steel pan out with me and, you know, clean up the top of that, the super below, and get the burr comb off and whatever comb doesn't come right off. But yeah, I suspect I probably just didn't mount the foundation right. That might have been one of the first ones I mounted, and I wasn't really tuned into it yet. But there was something else I was going to say. Oh, I was going to ask you. I think I asked you about this, but I'm going to ask again because I don't remember. Do you do oxalic acid vaporization if necessary, or do you do that as standard treatment? How many treatments do you do if you do it? And that season's coming up, right? Or have you done that already?
I don't do the vapors. I just do the pads.
The strips. Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of the pads now. Might away quick strips, I believe they are. They come 2 pads per package, and I put them on between the brood boxes. I heard you talk about that earlier, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's something I still got to plan on doing. I just put my mouse guards on today too, so I was out there. It's the perfect time for me to get into them and treat them for mites, but I didn't do that. I totally forgot about it, but I do got to get that done. I only treat once a year. I've had good luck, it seems like, only treating them once a year in the fall. It seems to work real well. I've always thought about giving them a light treat in the spring before I put the honey supers on, but I have not attempted that yet. It just seems the fall application seems to do real well. And I gotta tell you, last fall I totally screwed up the application. I forgot there was 2 pads per package, and so I laid 2 packages on, and I didn't pull the pads apart, so I overdosed them. I realized what I had done within a couple hours. I went back to tore everything off. You know, obviously wasted some money, but I thought for sure that I'd killed colonies, but they actually were very resilient. They pulled through and they did well. But, you know, you learn every time you do something. You really learn a lot every time you screw up. So they did really well. I do like the Might Away quick strips. I get those right through Hudson Valley D Supply normally. I think last year I had to order them though, because I think they were out. By
mistake. Yeah, I always say every failure you have is a really good opportunity for really good success in the future, because you learn what not to do and why not to do it. And you learn so many little other eccentricities around that when you do it right again, having had a failure under your belt, you do it right even better, I guess you would say. So yeah, that happens. Yeah, I'm debating whether I do strips or I just get the OAV. The tool up front, I think it was like $65, but then the oxalic acid is cheap, and I know that's known to be very effective. And I like the idea of a fast treatment and get out and not be leaving toxic substance in there. Although my understanding is those Mite Away strips are like 7,000 times more toxic to the mites than they are the honeybees.
Yeah, I'm not sure the difference between the two. It's I've just always gone with the strips. It seems it's as opposed to doing a single dose. This is more single dose, but it's more going down the dose.
Yeah, it's a continuous dose.
I don't know how the vapor does, but I know the Mite Away quick strips will kill the mites that are on the brood in the cap cells as well as the mites that are to watch temperatures with it. Again, I'm not overly familiar with the vapor. I haven't. I think that's temperature dependent as well. But not, I don't think it's so much about the miter wave quick strips.
Yeah.
If it gets too hot, it's no good.
Yep.
And when you do apply it, they say open the hive up all the way and just let it bend. The strips will be on there for a week before you pull them off. And it's kind of a pain to pull them off. Sometimes you got to kind of scrape them off. And it's very messy. You want to wear gloves. You don't want to touch the stuff barehanded. You know, all the normal good stuff we do is
I'm gonna stick with OAV. I think.
Chemicals. you want it for reasons.
Check OAV.
Which are usually better than the outcome if you don't use it at all. So but still, it's not good stuff either way. I'm just more familiar with miter wave quick strips than I am the vapors. KD2 RFI.
KD2 control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. We'll just pause real quick and see if there's any check-ins, and then I'll respond. Are there any further check-ins for the net? I didn't even get a full call sign, but I know that was K2LD, and I know you're just checking in and out. Thanks for checking in, Bob. Sorry we didn't give you a better opportunity in, but thanks for checking in. And I'll just put it back to you in case you got one last shot.
Just want to drop in and say hi, and I'm enjoying listening to it. I can hear it better than you can hear me.
Actually, I got all that. Glad you're enjoying it, and thanks for the check-in, Bob. Yeah, so that makes me think, Bob, that the other Bob, KB2RFI, that makes me think I'm going to go with OAV, because, yeah, I don't like the sound of that, and I'm trying to think, I think it was some sort of spider mite issue that I finally had to resort to some sort of mite strip for, and I remember the warning labels on those, and many online reviews talking about just how toxic that stuff was. So that makes me think the OAV, especially because the dosing is cheaper, and I kind of want to scale up. I think it's like 10 cents a dose or something like that once you have the tools. So that's cheap. I'm pretty sure the one guy online said he did 5 treatments, but I'll have to go back and look at what the Canadian beekeeper guy does. And then once I figure this all out, of course, I'll compare notes and feedback to you, because I'm sure you're interested in some form or fashion.
With the vapor, is that something you can, it sounds like you can treat multiple times during the course of the year,
Yep.
Which is probably ideal.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't believe it impacts the mites that are in the sealed brood cells.
Sure, I'll have to look that up.
I think it just does the mites that are walking on the comb or, on the bees themselves, but it doesn't affect the ones inside the sealed comb. How does it affect the honey as well? Is that something you can use with the honey on the hive still? And also there's another treatment out there, I believe it's called Hopguard 2, which was approved. I have not heard a whole lot about that, and I don't know if anybody used it. I'm just wondering if you had looked into it at all.
This is KD2 and control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Let's see, the OAV, I'm not sure, but I believe you're correct that it does not affect capped brood, and I believe that's why there's a multiple treatment effect. I think they're like 5 days apart or something like that, and that way, as each brood cycle hatches out, you get a chance to make sure they've been treated. You can't leave honey on. I don't know of anything that you can leave honey on as far as mite treatments goes. Of course, that's part of why, I think in part why they recommend fall, in addition to the fact that you're going into a high-stress season, which is when mite load, virus, nosema, and all those other disease pressures would be much higher, not having fresh pollen and fresh nutrition available. What was the other question? I'll put it back to you.
KD2 or FI.
Oh, the other type.
Well, the other question was about Hopguard 2, if you've had any knowledge of that. It's supposedly an all-natural. It's derived out of, hops. Things going to make beer with.
No.
really got my attention. But I was wondering if you're familiar with that, because I haven't heard of anybody using it, and it seems like it's one of those ones that are sitting on the side. And, oh boy, there was something else I got thinking about.
I mentioned it because I will definitely look into that, and I will definitely ask Frederick Dunn of the Frederick Dunn YouTube channel if he has any experience with it, and if not, if he's interested in doing some reviews on it. He does some excellent review work. I will look into that. That is really interesting, and it's funny because I just bought some hops rhizomes this spring, and hopefully they're surviving out there. I haven't put a lot of effort into them. But no, I'll look into that. The other, I did hear of another one I've heard of using fumic acid, but I didn't really understand whether that was supposed to control mites better or something like nosema or something like that. But one of the beekeepers in the south, whose YouTube channel I follow, it's like little bits of honeybees or something, was talking about using that. So, but no experience with hop card as of yet.
All right, I'd really be interested to find out. I haven't heard a whole lot about it. I've just seen it in the newspaper articles. It's down at Bee Supply and whatnot, so I'd be very interested. The other big one's nosema. I got to treat a couple hives for that. That's if I've got the right illness that I'm thinking of. It's basically my bees have the runs, and you can always tell by the front of the hive. It gets all spattered with bee fecal matter. So I got to treat them for that. Otherwise, going into the winter, they won't survive being cooped up with that all year.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
Address that.
I got to find out. I've never had to deal with it before. Only had one other hive that's gotten sick, and it was. And I ended up losing it over the winter because I never treated it. So I got to make sure I definitely treat these this year. And I'll probably give them all a dose, a preventive dose, which is something, if I understand right, you can do. And there's no ill side effects other than treating them for the runs, so to speak. So I'm going to do that as well. I don't know. Not too much more. It's starting to get late, so I'm going to start thinking about winding down here in a few minutes.
I'm ready to pull a radio
Back
plug
to you.
myself. All right, very good. Yeah, I didn't realize you had some with nosema infection. It'd be good if you get a chance. Among the million other things you have to do is get a couple of video clips of that, just so people can see it and recognize it and have a better reference for it. Yeah, I know the Canadian beekeeper guy was talking about nosema. He actually does like spot testing in his apiaries in each yard for nosema, mites, all sorts of stuff. I think that is fairly easily addressable. I know he was talking about nutrition being a big part of getting their health back up and getting them up out of that. But yeah, I definitely do some research into it. I'm definitely not in a position to advise you on it, for sure. But very good. Yeah, I'm about ready to pull the plug here too. Sorry to hear the college funding is draining all your fund and things are on hold, but hopefully we get that squared away and get back to jumping out of perfectly working airplanes.
Well, life has its ups and downs, its bumps and hurdles. It's, like anything else, we're going to get through it. It's a little uncomfortable, and, you give up the little extras here and there, but it's just, it's one of those things. No big deal. Can't let it drag you down. It's what it is, and you keep up the good fight, and you keep walking through, and next thing you know, you're out the other side. So, not a big deal. It's only 8 more months left. She's in her senior year. She's doing a great job. I just got to buy her a comforter because she is up north. It's kind of cold right now, so that's all right. I'll send her up a comforter. But no, other than that, it's been good. More than happy to talk about bees whenever I can. Hopefully this spring I'll be able to talk more about the garden and my fruit trees and getting them squared away. We're kind of winding down the season. Still piling on all sorts of organic material. Hopefully next spring I can start getting this little garden plot out and get something popping up, some fresh vegetables or whatnot. That'd be nice. So, all right. Hey, CJ, you have a good night. Wishing everyone out there 7-3. One more thing before I go is I do have a ton of video clips I took during the season probably take some more when I treat the bees as well. I haven't done a whole lot of talking to them, so it'd be a lot of little, typing in, I guess. But it's doing the, wording on the screen, so to speak, or maybe I'll overlay some talking on it. But we'll get that done as soon as things slow down. It's just I wish I could be more consistent and get these out quicker. But I do have a ton of video to upload and put together and get sent out. So, all right. Then again, back to 7-3, everyone. Take care. Have a good night. 82 RFI. Going to bed.
All right, very good, Bob. Well, thanks for checking in again, and good to catch up with you. And yeah, we'll get it all sorted. All right, hang in there, and yeah, whenever you get to editing, just always looking forward to more video, especially of your AP area, since we have so many discussions about it. But yeah, I hear you. The processing and editing takes time and energy. I have videos I have to go back and edit, and I still got recording to do. Yeah, I'm rambling also. 7-3s. Have a good evening. Thanks for participating in the net, and thank you to everyone else who joined in, jumped in and out, and supported the net. And we're going to go ahead and close it out here. This is KD2 and Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. The Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net is sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Energy Radio Club, located in beautiful Ulster County, New York. If you want to know more about our club and our meetings and our other nets and other information about our club, please visit our website at www.omarkclub.org. That's whiskey, Oscar, Mike, Alpha, Romeo, Charlie, Lima, Uniform, Bravo, Oscar, Romeo, Golf. Thank you to everyone who participated. Always an excellent conversation, especially when we get into the bees. I always really enjoy that. So everyone have a great evening, and this radio repeater is back under regular amateur use. Thanks to all those who participated. KD2IIN is clear for the night. Okay, the radio portion of the broadcast day is over. With the repeater IDing on the way out. There, is anybody left in here? Oh boy, I've missed a whole bunch of conversation. Hello everybody. Let's see. Geeky Gardens, the health department, you had 800 megahertz radio for primary. Okay, that's like right below cell phone. Hey, Sonny Ray, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Only two things fall out of the sky. Yeah, good bee info tonight for sure, Geeky. HDHW probably got a, hey, Sonny Ray, you're back. What's up, dude? Good to see you in. Yeah, looks like we lost HTHW early, Geeky. He probably got a call to go fix tractor equipment. It is harvest season. I'm sure he's getting calls at all screwy hours of the day at this point. So hopefully whatever he's working on is good income and he's safe and well. Glad he at least stopped in. That was nice. What's going on with you, Geeky? You survived the hurricane, so that's good. Glad to see that. Chilling on the tube. Whoop whoop. On YouTube. Scoop scoop. Cool cool. Let's see, Sonny Ray. I keep thinking you're in Germany. Is that right? Stayed far enough off the coast. Good. Good, good. So you got some rain out of that? Did that cool anything down? How's stuff going in the lab? Tomatoes coming up? You ready to show me what a growing season is while I watch everything freeze? And stoke fires day and night? Melbourne area, Florida, okay. that makes a lot more sense. Germany, I would expect to be cooler this time of year. And I saw you talking with Geeky, you're getting ready to start tomatoes too, so awesome. Florida. I want to come down there in like November and then come back here in like April. I can't, but I'd like to. Well, I'm glad you made out good on that hurricane, Geeky. There's no more in sight for a while, right? We're in the clear for a bit, hurricane-wise. Hot down there, huh? Everything came up but mustard and cilantro? Yeah, cilantro likes good watering. It can be finicky. And mustard? You had mustard growing? Tell me about that. As in, like, the mustard plant that you would take mustard seed from and make mustard with? Oh, Sonny Ray was at the south end, and you were at the north end. Oh, so you guys were playing the Guardian Gates. Get off to the coast. Move along, hurricane. Move along. Well, nice work, gentlemen. Hot. Yeah. I wish it was still hot here. It's getting cold here. I'm already in a long sleeve shirt at 10 o'clock at night. Has a leafy green like colors, but it's the same plant. Ah, okay. Ah. Now, that's not in the Brassica family though, is it? That's a different family, right? Different genus, is it? Interesting, I don't think I've ever had it. And collards, that reminds me, I never got my collard seeds in from HTHW. I don't even know if it might be too late now. I can't keep up with everything. It's cooled off to the 80s and then back to 90s. Oh, 90s would feel so nice. Oh, that would feel so nice right now. Let's see, at the moment it's 68 out, which is actually a relatively warm night. The last week or so, we've had nights as low as 49 or 50. And that's, 49 or 50 isn't bad, but when you go outside to work and it's 50 degrees and there's a heavy dew and everything's damp and cool, it really cuts into you more. Hey, Homestead in the hard way, you're back. Everybody wondered where you went. I said maybe you got a fix-it call. I said it is harvest season. He's probably getting calls all different hours. I'm in a tropical storm because it sucked getting Dorian. Can't believe it's cooling down already. Oh yeah, we're in fast cooling trend. By October we'll be looking at potential frost. We could get a real cold night. We could get a real cold night even before that. I mean, we've been known to get frosts in September before. I'm hoping we don't, because I have lots of stuff I want to roll through into early October with, at least. I got squash and tomatoes and peppers and all sorts of stuff. Came at 9, but must be a different feed. It looked like my stream health dropped out on me there for a while. I kind of got distracted by the radio, I guess you could say. I was not paying as much attention to the stream and making sure that it was live. So it might have dropped out and come back. Yeah, October 20th is our official frost date here, Sonny Ray. It's usually, I guess on average it's around there. I know we've had frosts. We've had no frost into December before, which those are a nice warm fall. But we've also had frost early September for sure, even late August sometimes. Not as much here as up in the higher elevations, but I know higher elevations we had frost. I think it was like August 24th or 5th up in the Catskills. Yeah, I started at 9:30. Thank you, Kiki. Yeah, I don't know if you heard my response to that or not. So yeah, that's our season, and then let's see, in May 20th is our official last frost date for spring. I was trying to beat you here, Kiki. He's fast on the digital homesteading. You gotta watch out. He's got like 15 bots going, bouncing off of the Netherlands, logging in. Right, Geeky? I know you're running an ion cannon on my YouTube channel. Low orbit ion cannon. A reminder up that said 12:30. Oh. Well, you know, YouTube is annoying me lately with some of their screwy stuff. First of all, I'm on the East Coast, as you know. So when I go to pick the time, I have to pick the Pacific time that I want this to run at in order to get the correct time on my live stream. So I do that, and I hit set reminder. I may have done that, and before it took the adjustment, hit set reminder, and maybe that's why it came up for 12:30. Oh, I'm just teasing you, Geeky. I know you're not doing low orbit ion cannons on me. Arduino and Pi is more fun anyway. But anyway, so I think that's how that happened. So I'll be more careful with my clicks, and I'll wait for YouTube to catch up to me. Come on, YouTube, you're only serving billions of people. Come on. I guess it's a small quirk to pay for a free platform to broadcast worldwide when you consider it in the scheme of things. But it's frustrating sometimes because it could be easier. But whatever. Anyway, I apologize for the confusion. Yeah, it's Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. And actually, since I started doing the live stream, I've been much more religious about making it here. I think it's just because there's that many more people dependent on it, so it makes me remember better. I would miss them quite frequently before I started streaming them. So, plus it's also a nice opportunity to, you know, chat with my my community here on YouTube. Problem is there are programmers involved. Yeah, Arduino is the one I got to get into next. In fact, that's gonna have to climb my priority list pretty fast this fall once I get squared up with some firewood and get stoves and harvest finished. I gotta get an Arduino up and running all those controls in the greenhouse, and I want to put several Arduinos out controlling different processes. Like I've got a drying rack that I want to turn into a dehydrator and use thermal transfer from the stove for the heater for the greenhouse to run that dehydrator at controlled temperatures and off solar power. So I basically want to dedicate an Arduino to that and then have it feed all that data from the sensors back to the Raspberry Pi as sort of a server, so I can gather data from all the individual parts, but we're using an Arduino lacking an operating system for the most part, so we'll have better reliability, because the Raspberry Pi, I lost another one this summer to a lightning strike, and I just don't have time in the summer to go out and, like, you know, go install a new Pi, bring the OS over, make sure the sensors come up and work. When they don't work, trace them out and fix them. So I want to isolate things out so that if something fails, I could just replace that part and not have that issue. I'm sure you're following me. Filling out work orders? Okay. No, it's all good. Work orders are good. That's income, right? And then let's see, Geeky, my friend Aaron, who is an electrical engineer, and he's the one who got me into Raspberry Pi and the DS18B20 sensors and all this sort of stuff. He developed a new hardware board that we're going to test this season that basically takes all your one-wire sensors in, and you can basically disconnect each sensor or pull through the sensors in sequence, and then that way when one sensor fails, you don't lose the whole array. You only lose that one sensor, and you'll also know which sensor has failed. So at some point, when he gets a chance to get back and write some software for that, and we can integrate that, that's going to be integrated. So that'll be interesting to play with, and we might make those boards available somehow in the future. Yeah, hopefully means you'll get paid. I know what you mean, homesteading. I just got my paycheck from a month ago today. So I hear you. I've been waiting on that so I can get glass, so I can extract honey, so I can flip some stuff, so I can get parts for the greenhouse, so I can keep running. So glad that came in. But yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I think we talked about it. It seems like the people with more money are the ones that take longer to pay. But this was a mailing related issue, this one. Seems to be a lot of those out of that particular township. This one I think was actually on this end today, but it's all good. We got the checks that can fly, so that's good. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, it should be pretty easy overall. COM to the Pi, maybe a slight issue. Wi-Fi add-on. Yeah, I want to stay away from Wi-Fi. I'll probably wire everything and use either I2C or serial programmable SPI. Probably just do SPI. I think that's a pretty simplistic way to do it. We don't need tremendous data speeds for it. So that's my thought. Yeah, I'm still researching too, I should say. I haven't even gotten back to researching, but I have research ideas on my list of things to research. But no real time to look them up at the moment. But 100% germ, nice. Yeah, I find I don't find good reliability with anything wireless I've tested to date, Geeky. With a few exceptions of Linux-based stuff, like where I took WRT54G routers and loaded them with, it's been so long I don't even remember. Oh, DDWRT, or Tomato, or Open, whatever. But I haven't found good reliability on wireless in general. In part because of weather here. You know, we get a heavy snow squall, and 2.4 gigahertz just doesn't travel well through that. And then you know, we have concrete walls. We have some of the walls, like in the old building, were steel. It's all steel wall. I mean, you might as well be in a Farad cage. There's no high frequency RF coming through that. So I've just gone with all wired, and I found it's reliable, and like especially with the wired connection to the greenhouse, it's nice and fast. It's probably 10 times the speed of the wireless connection I used to have, and it's just 100 base T Ethernet. But it, you know, I can grab the entire, like it's almost 300 meg, no, it's almost 400 meg database in about 60 seconds now. So that's plenty of speed for me. But yeah, so I'm thinking SPI or I2C. Probably just SPI because it's pretty straightforward, simple, old school. If it works, why fix it? And then I'm going to just replace the Pi 3 for now in the greenhouse, just to get it back online and logging data again, because I've been out since late July, I think, is when the lightning strike happened. I'll know better when I bring the database back online. So I'm just going to replace it for now. But then once the Pi 4 has come out and they've worked the quirks out of it, probably midwinter or early spring, I'll probably upgrade to a Pi 4 and make that like basically a farm server at that point. And hopefully I'll have everything isolated out into Arduinos or Pi Zeros or whatever is appropriate for whatever project is going on. I also do want to put a Pi 0W on my tractor and do temperature, oil pressure, all that kind of stuff, be logging that, and then when the tractor's in range of wireless, bang that to the database also. So got a lot of interesting network tied together farm related things. Yeah, old school is the best, tried and true. And thanks Chris on that. I have to say thank you on that, because last night I was doing some cleanup around the greenhouse and I thought about grabbing the weed eater, but instead I went and grabbed the grass whip and I was done in about 2 minutes. So thanks for that. That was excellent advice and a good reminder, like, oh yeah, the old school tools are just, they work. They just work. So, cheers. I'll drink water to that. So that's the plan for the greenhouse, along with a stove upgrade. I got a new stove last winter in the old place I was living, and then of course I had to move out of there within, actually the day I got the stove, or the day I finished paying for the stove, the day I found out I had to move out. But I installed it and ran it for a little while as a test, and that thing rocks. And I used it to dry that place out a little bit the last couple of nights. But that's got to switch over to the greenhouse. And that's going to make a huge difference in keeping the greenhouse warm this winter. It takes bigger logs, it has a better burn time, it has better burn control, and I'm going to do some modifications to hook that to the thermal mass tank to make that whole system more efficient and keep temperatures more stable, easier. So that'll take some of the workload off me once those upgrades are completed. Thank God, because by April, I'm pretty worn of stoking greenhouse fires. Okay, sounds good, Geeky. I'll be curious to see what you find. I guess I could run Bluetooth too. Although I don't think Arduinos have Bluetooth, but you could probably get a shield for that. But I also don't want to go shield crazy. I kind of want to keep those relatively basic and let the Pi server be the main data management, just collect data and run controls from the Arduinos. But I am curious as to what else you discover. I did start some preliminary research on that a couple of months ago, and I found something interesting. I forget what it was called, but I don't know. I know I have a link around somewhere. I'll have to dig it up. The other thing I still have to do is capture the Bluetooth data on those D-Rock amp meters and add that to the database. That's a project though, because I basically have to hack how they're sending the data and then intercept it with the Pi and then figure out how to poll that effectively to figure out what charging, discharging rates are, or how frequently I have to poll that to know. So that's a whole project too. But we'll get to it. Oh. Chips and boards that wire in. Yeah, that makes sense. let's see, you're coming from, what are you coming from, Arduino? Like you want to go to wireless from Arduino back to the wireless on the Pi so you can data log? Yeah, don't feel bad about it, homesteading the hard way. Several years ago it would have been way over my head too. You just got to get a Raspberry Pi and play in your spare time. Arduino controlling the tracker and sending data to the Pi. Yeah, okay. So you just want something you can grab data. Well, does it have to be wireless to go to the Pi? Or is it just because of the way where you're setting it up that you want wireless so you don't have to run wires? And I don't remember what the distance is on SPI. You probably would know that better than I do, what the maximum transmission length is for SPI. 1952 there. Wow, that sounds like a nice place to be, Chris. Don't want to run any more wires in the yard. I totally hear you. Try being a ham radio operator. Every time you want to get on another frequency, you got to run another wire. And then I'm into Pi on top of that. And then I'm in, oh, I need a conduit about like that, full of cable. By the time I got done wiring, you could inductive couple power off it. Yeah, at some point I should go back and bury this whole Ethernet run to the greenhouse, because that I've had to be very careful about not clipping that with the mower different times of the year. Yeah, 300 max on Wi-Fi, yeah. You can get more out of that with directional antennas, but that gets expensive fast. And also, depending on where you're pointing that antenna, it might not be so good for you. Yeah, I'm not sure about SPI either. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, Bluetooth is usually like 30 feet. I've seen some Bluetooth devices that'll do 1200, but I think they're specialty devices. And probably not cheap, but you probably can find a chip for what you want that's cheap. Oh! You know what you might use? Geekster, I know what you might use. Node MCU. Node MCU has onboard wireless, low power, and is very low power consumption. Do I have that handy? Let me see. If I have a Node MCU around. If I got that handy. Pretty sure. Thought that was in here. Chip. I don't know where I stuck that, because that's another project that's on the list. Oh, good God. It just doesn't end. Look up Node MCU. Yeah, Cantanas you can build. And, yeah, don't worry about it, Chris. I know how to use Bluetooth, and I never use it. It's too short a range for most of what I do. It's great for like if you want to like use your phone in your car or use a wireless headset or something like that. It is good for the purpose it's designed for. Not secure, but good for the purpose. Your phone and truck radio are in collusion. Yeah, I'm sure. Most of them are. But look up Node MCU. NODEM as in Mike, C as in Charlie, U as in uniform. They're about $4 a piece. They have SPI, I2C, onboard Wi-Fi. They only take like 2 milliamps at 5 volts or something like that. And they have, they also have like the one-wire interface inputs, one-wire network on board, I think. Among other things, they have other inputs as well. Super flexible, super cheap, and it would give you wireless. That would be the way to do that. Then you could pick it up from the Arduino and shuttle it right out over the Node MCU. And then if you need more range, you could put a little bit better antenna on it, which would be too hard to do. Fortunately, 2.4 gigahertz is really short wavelength, so antennas are really small. You probably already know that. 87 Chevy don't have that option. My my 02 Subaru doesn't have that option either. And I don't need it. I was really stoked that it had CD and tape deck. I couldn't believe that. And radio, well, I've had one good song on the radio in 3 weeks. So, and then I came home and that was stuck in my head for 4 days. So, Led Zeppelin, Fool in the Rain, by the way. I hadn't heard that in probably 5 or 10 years. Okay, yeah, check it out. It's worth checking out. They program by USB. They're interesting. Aaron and I both have to get back and play with those. We just haven't. Well, we have to collaborate on it, and he and I never have time at the same time. In general, we really never have time, but then especially we never have time at the same time. Didn't even have a radio in the vehicle for most of your life. Well, you weren't missing much. I mean, you missed a bunch of commercials, a bunch of stuff you don't need to buy, and occasional music sprinkled in. Got a new radio for my birthday. That's hands-free phone because I won. Hey, Robin, how's it going? Don't answer if I'm driving. Yeah. I still don't have a cell phone. I haven't had one in maybe 6 or 8 years, I would guess. Mennonite. Ah, okay. Yeah, that'd do it. Yeah, that was what I was doing with my back when I had my BlackBerry as my actual phone. I would take that and plug into the tape deck in the truck, and then I would have all my music. That I miss because commercial-free music that I like is important. So I have to pick something up for that at some point, but it's not a priority here. Yeah, I'm sorry, Robin. Everybody's saying that. I think I screwed up when I set it up, so I apologize. But glad you're here. How are you doing? Hanging in there? Doing okay, I hope? Yeah, see, that song's still stuck in my head. Darn it. No TV, computer, cell phone, nothing, huh? Well, that's funny. I actually was one of the few kids who grew up with personal computer from when I was a little kid. Because my dad worked at IBM, and he was bringing home some of the latest and newest technology before personal computers were even a thing. IBM was still a mainframe computer company doing servers for business. They were developing the first PC lines, and I got to play with the first IBM PC 3270, the 3270 PC. And my brother and I played video games on that were way ahead of their time. That was cool. So I started on computers young. TV, my mom only let me watch a little bit of TV, like after school, or if there was a good show on at night. But she kind of kept us from getting sucked into that too much. At the time, I was a little annoyed as a kid about it, but I had much more exciting things to do outside anyway. And now looking back, I'm very glad I didn't get addicted to that stupid crap, because what a waste of time. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear it, Robin. Fought for years because she wanted a TV. Ugh. Yeah. Good call on not letting her have it. That's like one of the most mind-rotting things you can do. Man, people spend so much time rotting their minds on that garbage, and now you can't even get a good show. There's so much like drama and hype. And then the few times I've been around a TV in the past years, and I could probably count that on one hand in, say, probably 10 years. It's probably 5 times in 10 years, but it's always just endless commercials, and of course they pump those up, so all you hear is this over-modulated commercial garbage. I don't know how people watch it or find interest in it. Anyway, glad to hear you didn't waste your time on that. I think that this technology has lots of good potential, but I don't think we're using it effectively or safely as a society yet. I think we're misusing it drastically, and I think it's going to have massive negative effects, and I think we're already seeing some of those. Lots of reasons she is an ex. Yeah, that's what I always tell my daughter. There's a reason your mom and I aren't together. That's another one of them. Ah, interesting, Kiki. Okay. What was your first PC? Was that the x86 or something like that? Man, I remember when those discs were like, what were they, like 512K? The 5 1/4 disc? And then, let's see, you could get 1.4 megs on the 3.5s, and then they finally came out with a 2.44, but that was stacking it on there. And then, let's see, memory counts. I remember watching memory counts. They were super slow, and it was like, I think it was counting like 8 bits. It was like 8, 16, 24, 32. It would take like 5 minutes to even go through that. Time Sinclair 1000. Ah, wow, okay. I've heard of those. I've never seen one, but that's interesting. And did you have a Commodore 64 or 128 at any point? Sorry, Robin. Sorry, Chris. We're just yapping. Computador. A Z-Log Z80 CPU, 8 bits with a whopping 4K RAM. Wow, yeah. That's old school. I think that PC 3270, I think that had 512K, and we were like, yeah, this thing's like a beast. It might have even been a 16-bit processor, maybe. Here's a question for you, Geeky. Do you remember playing Load Runner? The guy with the fire and the ice blocks? The Moth, yeah, he had to make his appearance. Upgraded to a C64. Both are on my desk next to me. Still work. Nice. I was just talking to my friend KB2SBT on the radio last week, and he was talking about his Commodore 64. I think he said he tried to fire it up and there was something wrong with it. And he was looking at, the disk drives weren't working. So he was looking at getting, I guess there's an adapter chip you can get for it. He was looking at getting one of those just to fire it up, because we used to communicate when he was going to college in Nashua, New Hampshire. We used amateur radio and packet radio, which is digital, to go through the digipeaters and send each other messages back and forth from Nashua to New York. And at one point, his Commodore 64 power supply went down, and he actually took apart an alarm clock and tapped the power lead off the alarm clock to bring the CPU up on the 64 so we could keep communicating. So we were having a good chuckle about that. Yeah, I can't get it to read those 30-year-old floppy disks. Yeah, I was telling him I had 5-year-old disks before that wouldn't read. You know, you'd put them in, they just wouldn't even index, wouldn't even do a direct read, let alone pull a file off. I was like, don't feel bad if it's 20-some years old and you're not getting anything on it. Yeah, the Commodore 64 was a big deal back then, Robin. Everybody was wound up on those. A 300 baud card, there you go. Well, I don't have anything that old around. I tossed all that stuff years ago. I might, in some stash pile somewhere, have an old 56K modem around from late 90s, early 2000s. But I always lived on farms, so we didn't have like cable or DSL or anything handy. I had to use a local company, WebJogger Wireless, to get internet faster than dial-up. The old modems. Yeah, well, that packet radio that I was talking about, we run, what does that run at again? Oh, 1200 baud. So that's even faster than, it's over radio, so it's actually a little slower than if it was over wired. But it's actually faster than that 300 baud modem you got. That's kind of funny. And then we had 9600 baud backbones. I went for it. And the Church of Men changed, so we got a TV. I hear you, Chris. She doesn't watch that much TV though, does she? I know you guys were saying you watch my YouTube videos on it, so that's a nice thing to have. I could see using it for that. I just don't like not having control over the content. I don't want to watch what you're going to shove at me. I want to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it. If I want to learn something, I want to go learn it. I like the computers. You have control over that. Although, boy, the commercials are ramping up on all platforms. Yeah, before internet, yeah. No, I used to run my own BBS board, Kiki. Back in the day when I was in high school, I had my own BBS. Yeah, and a movie occasionally. Yeah, but that's, that's fine. That's moderate use. That's not what average Joe American does every night, where he goes home and just like veges out to the TV all night. I just think that's sad that people are doing that. They're missing so much of their lives watching someone else's fake life. It's just weird. Yeah, right, because I remember you saying you were watching my videos on it and then you couldn't comment or something like that, but yeah, that's a good way to use it. But interesting how times change, isn't it? Interesting how church administrations are changing dramatically in the last 10 or 15 years. Now, my parents have had it out with several ministers of churches that they go to over things that seem to be pretty set in stone, but don't seem to be set in stone these days, put it that way, without going into controversial topics. You only found out about YouTube last year, Chris? Oh. Well, glad you found us. Yeah, I know. I used to have a 32-inch that finally died on me, that I bought like 10 years ago. People would always come over and be like, "Oh my God, I love your TV, that's awesome." I'm like, yeah, I never watch TV on it. It's only for the computer, it's a monitor. Yeah, I could see that for following the storm, sure. I mean, case use, sure. But I see people veg away, 3-4 hours a night on it. Like, oh, did you see the latest whatever? And I'm like, I don't even know what that show is. I have no idea what that's about. What are you talking about? You know what? Don't tell me, because I don't even care. Call me biased, but don't tell me, 'cause I don't care. I will say, the last I had a TV, there were a few shows that I did enjoy. There were like National Geographic, did some interesting special stuff, and Axemen was interesting on the History Channel. But even that, I don't like. I mean, I'm not gonna watch somebody cut trees down every week for years on end. That just and I've done and seen a lot of that in person. It was interesting to see it in the Northwest on a massive commercial scale. But I think the most interesting part about that whole show was the chopper lifting the logs to the landing with the chopper. That was impressive. And of course, watching the yarder work, because it was interesting. Yeah, 3 months and you started right up. That's awesome. I'm glad you adopted the technology so fast, Chris. That's impressive. I'd love to see a survey of people who never heard of YouTube or saw YouTube and see like how fast they found out about it and went to starting a channel. Okay, Robin. I hope your bread goes well. Good night. Blessings. Glad to hear you're doing well. Hang in there. Keep the smiles coming. We'll see you soon. And I gotta pull the plug on this myself, because I got a million things to do still too. And yeah, I'm not good at pop culture either, Chris. I just I'm not paying attention to it enough. That's not my thing. It's not what I do in any way, shape, or form. As you're all well aware at this point. Duly noted, I'm sure. So anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this a stream for now. Thank you guys for joining, and always good to catch up with you. Always excellent conversation. I like making up my own acronyms too, geeky. I make up all kinds of stuff. We'll have to share secret acronyms back and forth from time to time. I got some ones that'll tickle a chuckle out of you, I think. Anyway, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. Thanks for participating. Thanks to everybody who joined the Radio Net earlier. And I hope you all have a great evening and a great week. And we'll look forward to seeing you at Homesteading the Highways Friday night live stream or next week here on the Pharmacy Seeds Network. You all have a good one. 73s, as we say on the amateur radio. Cheers.